From a very young age, art has been my companion. I've been painting and drawing my whole life. Once, when I was 12, I was given this assignment in art class to draw my self-portrait, where I was asked to look at myself in the mirror and draw my image without looking down at what I was doing. So here I am, sitting, looking at myself in the mirror, and I've got this thick pad of paper on my lap. I've got scratchy charcoal in my hand, and my hand, it starts to take off as if it has a mind of its own. I smell the fresh smells of acrylic and oil in the air, and if I press too hard with my charcoal, it will crack in half, but I don't care. I have pastels under my fingernails, and I wipe charcoal onto my smock. My mind is hyper-focused, but I am completely calm. It's kind of like the Matrix, like time is suspended and I am at peace. The entire class passes by and I lose track of time. I was always, in art classes as a kid. I studied fine art in college, and I dreamed of being an artist my whole life. But my junior year of college, I drive home for Thanksgiving with my family, and we're all sitting at the table, and my uncle, he leans into me and he says, "So, what are you gonna do with that fine art degree of yours?" And then my aunt, who always has a knack of getting straight to the point, she says, "Your cousin Jenny, she just got a job at HGTV. She's really making a name for herself. When are you gonna get a real job?" And as I'm wrestling with how to answer these questions, she leans in and she says to me, "Art is just a hobby, isn't it?" Is it? As I'm driving back to school, the fears, they start swirling in my mind. Is art just a hobby? Can I be an artist? How do I go about this? Will people like my art? How do I sell my art? Artists are broke, artists starve. I need to find something more practical. So, I didn't have words of people telling me actively not to be an artist, but I also didn't feel like I had strong words of encouragement. I didn't have a mentor to turn to, and I just didn't really know how to go about this life. I felt like I was walking into uncharted territory. So I let the fears take over, and I secured a full-time corporate graphic illustration position. A job where I don't have to worry about my paycheck. I worked for a decade designing toys for zoos, aquariums, and museums. It was a really cool job. It scratched my creative itch and it was comfortable. I got married to an amazing husband. I had 3 beautiful children, and I thought I had the life that I was supposed to live. I crafted this amazing life. But something was missing. It was this little piece to the puzzle that I couldn't really figure out, and this tugged at my heart. And then a global pandemic, COVID. Within days, I lost my job. I was devastated. And my 3 boys, ages 5, just learning to ride a bike, age 3, sharing a room with his baby brother, and my 8-month-old, just starting to crawl, are pulled out of school, and the childcare I have is gone. My husband is an essential worker, so he was out of the house the entire day, and I'm here as their mom with no idea what to do. My kids, they need their teachers, and they need their schedules, they need to get onto their Zoom calls, and these kids need so many snacks, so many snacks. And I need to they have so much energy. I need to take them to the park, but I can't go to the park because the CDC says that I need to stay inside and I can't touch the playground. But inside, they are fighting and they are melting down. And my baby is breastfed every 2 hours and cries for me constantly, and everybody needs me. But I can't help them because I need to get onto the computer and I need to figure out this life that I'm supposed to suddenly run for my kids. I need to get my 3-year-old in front of the computer 3 times a day for 45 minutes, and I need to keep him still. I need to remember to bring the note cards. I need to reach out to the school and figure out the schedules that I must keep to make sure that my kids are staying ahead of the curve. They say, work on multiplication. Morning messages shouldn't start later than 9 a.m. Make time for story time, independent work. I need to teach my kindergartner how to read. And then they say to me, but take care of yourself. Make time for yourself. Make sure that you're taking care of your needs too. Well, after I had enough of that, I realized, like everybody does, I need to call my mom. So I take my kids and I put them in front of the TV, and I leave like a pile of dishes in the sink, and the laundry is like a mountain on the bed, and I step onto the deck for 5 minutes to call my mom. And when I step out there, my heart is beating out of my chest and my face feels like it's on fire, and I go to talk to her, but I can't, and the tears, they start pouring out of me, and I say, Mom, like, I'm miserable. I can't do this. I know I'm their mom, but like we're not happy. Like, this isn't working. I'm their mom, but I only have 2 hands. I was having a full-blown panic attack. Well, after, like letting it all out and having a good cry with my mom, I take my kids and I put them to sleep, and then I climb into my bed and I take the covers and I pull them up over my head, and it is silent. And I can breathe. And for the first time in a long time, I feel like I can hear my own thoughts and I know what to do. So the next morning I wake up and I reach out to my oldest child's school and I say, we're going to take a break from the virtual lessons. And then I reach out to my middle child's school and I say, we are no longer participating in these preschool virtual lessons. And I talk to my husband and he finds a way to give me some alone time. And my parents, they agree to come back, masked of course, once a week to help me. And I close the computer and I put down my phone. I decide that I am no longer going to listen to people telling me what to do, and I'm going to do what I know is best, art. So each day I decide to create an art activity. And sometimes they last 5 minutes and they're a mess, and sometimes they're great. We had nowhere to go, there was nothing to do, so we really had this space to experiment. So we mixed liquid watercolors together. I took egg cartons and we cut them out and we made sculptures. We took colorful clay and we made monsters. I took my dining room table and covered it in craft paper, and we drew tree houses and mazes. My youngest baby stopped crying and we all stopped crying. I decided to share some of these projects on social media because I wanted to show that some people with young children are not scheduled and organized, and we're not creating this routine. In fact, we are messy and we are not in control. And then I had this barely used guest bedroom, and I decided nobody's using it, it's COVID, so I'm gonna turn it into an art studio. I wanted a space where I could be messy with my kids and not have to worry about the cleanup. Maybe I could sneak in some painting. And then once things settled down and the kids went back to school, I would look for a new job, a real job. But when the kids were playing with toys and my baby was napping, I started to paint. I painted about the feelings that I had on my honeymoon. I painted about growing up with my grandmother. I painted about the warm embrace from an old friend. I painted about laughter and exploration and frustration and anger. It was like a total release. When I painted, paint would splatter all over my feet and get all over the studio, but I didn't care. Time stood still and I was at peace. I believe that painting was this period of my life during this time that I was able to express myself, work through my emotions, get them out on canvas, and it was truly therapy for me during a difficult stage in my life. And then I started sharing my paintings on social media, quite frankly, to have like a connection with adults after being with my crazy kids 24/7. And at first, friends and family would like my work, which felt so good. And then they started asking for commissions, which I was amazed by. And then strangers started to reach out to me asking for my art. And I built up a wait list of collectors. I would meet with these people and they would tell me about their homes or their businesses, and I would get to learn their personalities and style. And then I created a piece that felt authentic to me, but honored their space. And then writers and magazines started reaching out to me, asking me to share my story. Local businesses asked me to show my artwork in their shops, and small galleries reached out to me, asking to show my work in their spaces. And now I'm here before you on this TEDx stage. I have a wait list for my paintings spanning months. I'm not a millionaire, but I found a way to support myself as an artist. I really believe that if it wasn't for this wildly transformative pandemic experience that all of us went through, I would have been satisfied enough to continue my life as it was. If I hadn't been so overwhelmed and forced to slow down, I would not have reconnected to my authentic passion. But my story is not about my unexpected success as an artist, right? It's about the power of slowing down and finding your passion regardless of societal norms. We all live in this society where we're so focused on work and schedule. And we care so much about routine and exhaustion, you're doing a better job if you're working more hours than your neighbor. We care a lot about production and outcome, and we put this enormous pressure on parents to work so hard to raise these children that are high achieving and that we're in control of their lives and telling them what to do and who to play with. But what if instead we put the biggest value on the process and whatever it is that it unravels, regardless if it works or if it doesn't? What if we just slow down and see where life leads us? Perhaps like me, by following your passion, you may find ways of fulfillment that you never even thought were possible. I really want you to think about this. What did you love doing as a child, day in and day out? What made time stand still for you? What is it that nourishes your soul? Let's slow down, reconnect, and listen inward. Let's play more and lose ourselves in the moment and see where life leads us. Perhaps you will find a different way of being present in this world.